Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for the latest installment in my ongoing 50 for 2023 series here on the channel. Basically, very easy concept. Just made a list of 50 singles or cards that I wanted to target, some more specific than others, in the 2023 calendar year. And I'm going to kind of chronicle the journey of acquiring these and see how it goes as the year rolls on. And at the end of the year, kind of see how close I can get to hitting that 50 number, which would be about one card a week, give or take, to keep the pace. And I'm roughly on pace at this point with the cards that I've picked up and the videos that I've done. And today we're going to get to card number 6 off the list. And so far, some of the cards that you see in the background have been covered on earlier episodes. So there was a lot of like vintage baseball, first few cards, and then the last installment showed some gold numbered to 50 soccer cards, both Leo Messi and Kylian Mbappe. So when we left off, we were 5 cards in, about 10% of the way there. And card number 6, we're going to get into hockey for the first time. Obviously, I collect a lot of different sports and even non-sports. So within this 50 card list, there's definitely some diversity. It's I would say the majority of the cards are baseball, but you know, it's probably half baseball. And then the other half is comprised of hockey, soccer, non-sports, other odd items. So it's about time we get to a hockey card here. And this is one of the items on the list that was a little bit more vague, or gave me some leeway. And what I had on there was a playing era Bobby Orr card. Could be any card. Obviously, it was unlikely to be his 1966 rookie, which is a comma card many times over. But he played all the way into the mid to late 70s. There's a lot of options. I do have a few of his cards, but I certainly don't have anywhere near a complete run. So I had a lot of different options I could go with here, but ended up finding one relatively early in the year that I was happy with. This came at a really great price, I thought. And it's the 1973 Topps Bobby Orr in a PSA 6. So check this card out. That is a really, really nice looking hockey card right there. Love the image. Just a great shot of helmetless Bobby doing his thing. This is, you know, still kind of in his prime. This would have been shortly coming off, you know, back-to-back Stanley, or not back-to-back, but 2 different Stanley Cup championships for the city of Boston. Of course, scoring one of the most famous goals in hockey history against the St. Louis Blues. Just Boston area icon, and, you know, had already kind of become an icon of the sport even at this early stage in his career. And I just think this is a great card. The centering is nice here. The design on this 73 Topps release, not all the cards look this way, but the all-star players did get this, you know, NHL shield kind of cut out for the photo, and then solid color border. So the 73 hockey set, whether Topps or O-Pee-Chee, is very, very colorful, which I love. There are green border cards like these, blue, yellow, red, really runs the gamut. I don't think there's purple or orange, but you do get a lot of color in these cards, which I think is great. While the green doesn't really have any tie to the Bruins and is in fact kind of jarring next to their black and gold colors, I actually kind of think it works, and it's just a nice looking card. It almost, the logo there on his chest almost looks like it's maybe photoshopped on there, or airbrushed, I should say. They didn't have Photoshop back in the early 70s, but just a great photo. And a really important player. I think defenders or defensemen in all sports kind of tend to take a back seat to the guys who put up big offensive numbers. And I'm guilty of that myself, even within my collection and within the game of hockey. You know, I'm always talking about Ovechkin and Gretzky, Connor McDavid, those exciting players who are on the score sheet every night. But I do try to round out my collection and give some love to the guys that play the other positions that are equally important, like goalies and defensemen. And Orr, of course, was a very, very offensive defenseman, so he gets a lot of recognition in that sense. But I still don't know that he gets the love that he should, you know, compared to the type of players that are on his tier in the history of the game. Because I think it's generally agreed upon, and I would be in this camp, that he is the single greatest defenseman in NHL history. And, you know, so when you put him maybe in terms of all-time greatest players, when you place him on the list, you know, I think he's top 10 on anybody's list, or it's certainly close to it. I know, you know, Patrick Waugh, Wayne Gretzky, you know, maybe Connor McDavid ends up there someday, Mario Lemieux, Gordie Howe, you know, those types of players. Like, he's in that realm of player, but yet, you know, his cards are still very affordable. And I know this is a 6, which is maybe like just a mid-grade, but this is a gorgeous looking example. The centering is much better than a lot of what you see in this set. It's really almost perfect left to right and close to perfect top to bottom. So it looks great. Back of the card is fun. We got cartoons, you know, back in the day, creative cartoons on all the cards. So, you know, here we get a tidbit that, you know, or married a school teacher in the off season prior to the 73 campaign. So great right up there if you want to pause and read that. And I love the hockey stick motif on the left. So I didn't look it up before the video, and it's escaping me offhand, but I want to say I paid around $50 for this card. And for, you know, a relatively early to mid-career card of a player like this in this condition from the 70s, you know, I just think when you compare that to Gretzky and others, or maybe deserves a little bit more hobby love even than he gets already. And he's probably the most loved defenseman in the hobby. So, you know, obviously other guys like Nick Lidstrom and other effective defensemen probably are even more undervalued, but wanted to add another or to the few that I already have, and I'm really happy with that example. This is one where, even though I've crossed this off my list, I may actually just keep an eye out, especially given what his cards go for, and try to add 1 or 2 more playing era ors, especially if I'm doing well with the rest of the list. So that's a wrap for today. Appreciate you stopping by. I'd love to hear your thoughts on defenders or defensemen across the different sports in the hobby, and why they don't get as much love as the offensive guys. I think it's fairly obvious, but if you have any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I appreciate you tuning in for card number 6 off the list of 50 for 2023, and I'll certainly be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Till then, take care and stay safe.